I call this meeting of April 15, 2019 to order. It is now 6:06. Madam Secretary, would you please take roll?
Yes, ma'am. This is mine. Mr. Contreras. Ms. Guanajuato Webb.
Present.
Mrs. Haynes Sanders.
Here.
Mr. Mesa. Mr. Oberfeld.
Present.
Mr. Smith. And myself. Ma'am, we have a quorum.
Let the record show we have a quorum. This meeting was duly called and notice was posted in accordance with Texas Open Act, Government Code 551. We will now have opening ceremonies. We will have a short moment of silence to reflect on personal reflections and the Pledge of Allegiance. And while we're reflecting on personal reflections, also stop and reflect on Rudy Valdez, who passed away recently, an educator with our district for over 40 years, or close to 40 years. At this time, we'll stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Now we're on item 4, recognitions. 4A, fine arts recognitions, Mr. Ricardo Rios.
Good evening, Ms. Guanajuato Webb, Dr. Rios, members of the board. We're going to be showcasing our jazz students right now. If we can get all of them to set up, please, for the performance as we're doing this, and go ahead and start setting up for the performance. Thank you. And we have these students here with these trophies. I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Morales, and Mr. Cisneros also assist in working with the jazz band as they're setting up for their performance. Mr. Morales.
Thank you, Mr. Rios. Community, members of the board, Dr. Rios. On February 9th, the Del Rio High School Jazz Ensemble competed at the Hill Country Jazz Festival at Texas State University and the South Texas Jazz Festival in San Antonio, Texas. At the South Texas Festival, they were awarded with first division ratings from all judges, and at Texas State, they were awarded the outstanding band of the festival. On March 30th, they attended the Texas A&M University Kingsville Jazz Festival, the most competitive festival in South Texas. The Jazz Ensemble placed third out of 12 6A jazz bands. Austin taking first, and C.T. Johnson from San Antonio placing second. That makes this ensemble the best high school jazz band south of San Antonio. We're going to go ahead and play the closer for our program this year. This is entitled Roll 'em. It's a 1937 tune by Benny Goodman. Hope you enjoy it.
And you can see why they scored so high at that jazz festival. It's an incredible group. Very proud of these guys because not only do they do jazz, but we have several within the group that also participate in mariachi, of course, a marching band, and in many different activities, Student Council, National Honor Society, CT, you name it, they do it all. So let's hear another big round of applause for this incredible group.
Mr. Rios, congratulations. Congratulations, students. I know Benny Goodman, if he had been here, would have been very proud of you and probably hired you on his band. Because, Ms. Rodriguez, you had some of your little ones up here also, jazzing and singing and moving and doing. So, Mr. Rios, be careful with that class. So.
Well, it's a good way to recruit already, so we'll get him started.
Next on the agenda, we have the Visual Arts Scholarship Event, VASE or VOS, competition recognition.
And let me go ahead and turn it over to Mrs. Calvetti. Again, this is from our art department, our high school, and she'll give you some information as to this particular competition that our students participated in. Mrs. Calvetti?
Thank you. Good evening, School Board President, Mr. Mesa, School Board Superintendent, and School Board members. The Visual Arts Scholastic Event VASE team, under the directions of myself, Mr. Escobar, and Ms. Vanessa Martinez, would like to thank you for recognizing our teams. All the teams put in many months of work into their entries, adhering to both VASE and UIL rules. To give you a better understanding what it means both in VASE, the Region 15 competition had over 300 entries, 18 different schools, and at Region 15, 170 art pieces received a score of 4. In order to go to state, you must receive a 4. The following students received a 4, which is needed for the state event. The following team members under my direction were Zabdiel Antu, who's a freshman. Angel Barones, who's a senior. Marcus Costilla, which is a senior. Emily Duran, a junior. Lena Hackney was not allowed to be here tonight. She wasn't feeling well. Isaac Jimenez, a freshman. Kate Pendergrass was under the weather as well, and she's a sophomore. Carissa Ponce, junior, and a state qualifier. Vivian Kuala had 2 entries that both gained a 4, but she is also in 4-H competition. So she wasn't able to be here tonight. Rivera, who's a freshman, she was ill. David Zamora, who's a freshman. And then if Zabdiel and Carissa could step forward, please. Carissa has 1 entry into state finals, and Zabdiel has 2. And these are copies. These are not as good as the originals because the originals are at state. And here's Mr. Escobar.
Okay, Chris Escobar. Be here before you again to announce the level 4 under my direction. I have Cassandra Faith Alfaro. With her artwork entitled The Struggle. It's an acrylic on canvas, and she is a senior. Then we have Bianca Elisa Guzman. Her artwork is entitled Artist versus Realism. It's acrylic on canvas, and she is a senior as well. And last, in the level 4 category, we have multi-talented music and art, Daniela Angela Rivas, with her artwork. artwork entitled Daydream. It's a graphite pencil. And Daniela is a junior. Okay. And right now we have Vanessa Martinez. She is the Art 1 teacher presenting her students. Thank you.
I had Gavin Dawson with his photograph entitled Hands to the Sky. Madeline Bukowski with her acrylic artwork entitled Feel Good. Nicole Metzger, sophomore, with her fiber piece entitled Basil. And Aaliyah Portillo, sophomore, with her acrylic piece entitled Moonlight.
Okay, finally, I just wanted to present the VASE state qualifier, Angel Alejandro Victorino, with his artwork entitled The Lost and Found. His artwork is not found here because it's up in San Marcos, Texas, representing Del Rio. He is also, as well, not present at the moment. Thank you.
Again, I want to thank Mrs. Calvetti, Mr. Escobar, and Mrs. Martinez for the great work that they do with these kids in the art department over at the high school. And it's a great thing that they can go and compete amongst other art students throughout the state. And again, we do have a few that are moving on to the state competition in San Marcos. So congratulations to all. We want to thank our administration for their support of the fine arts program as a whole, and in this case, our art department. So congratulations, students, and we may have a big round of applause for them. Thank you, and that concludes our fine arts portion of the board meeting. Thank you.
Good job. Wow. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Let's hear it one more time for all the fine artists and their teachers. Thank you so much. Keep doing what you're doing. And I believe Ms. Hernandez has something to say with a trophy.
Yes, the introduction today. Good evening, Mrs. Webb, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. It's my distinct honor to introduce you today to Ms. Thila Rodriguez and her kindergarten class from North Heights Elementary. Stand right here. Together with the drive of her students and the encouragement of her students' parents and her principal, Ms. Rodriguez has once again set a new district record. She and her class have achieved a new record of 113 consecutive days of perfect attendance, beating last year's record, which she accomplished last year, of 111 days of consecutive perfect attendance. We'd like to congratulate and present Ms. Rodriguez and her kindergarten class with this trophy in recognition of their new district record. And we'd like to thank their parents for their support and encouragement. Let's give them a wonderful round of applause.
they're so short.
They're shorter than us. They're about as short as I am.
Congratulations, Ms. Rodriguez, students and parents, because without you, as a matter of fact, the parents, stand up. All of the parents of these fine young students, stand up. Thank you. Because without you, they wouldn't be in school. So thank you so much for what you do for our district. Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez, again, and students, thank you so much. Next on our agenda, we go to item 4C, recognition of career and technical education, student competitive events, and those students advancing to world champion by Mr. Roger Gonzalez.
Good evening, Ms. Guanajuato Webb, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. Career and Technical Education would like to recognize students and their sponsors who recently competed and placed at a variety of events at the district and state level. Many of these students competed in their district and then competed at the state level and winning also both. These students have actually traveled to numerous cities, San Antonio, Austin, El Paso, Dallas, and even into Arizona to compete. We'll start off with the first group, the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, freshman chapter. We're lucky that Family and Consumer Science actually has 3 chapters at Del Rio High School. The Family Consumer Science winners for the assessment part is Camila Rodriguez, winning gold. Andrea Lopez, also winning gold. And Alyssa Jimenez, winning bronze. At the state events, Melanie Rodriguez and Alexandra Olmos won 5th place in interpersonal communications, winning 4th place in environmental ambassadors, Camila Rodriguez and Victoria Bocanegra and Alyssa Jimenez. Congratulations to all these winners and their sponsor, Regina Cardenas. Continuing on with the second FCCLA group out of Del Rio High School. This is the culinary chapter under the directions of Chef Adan Cortez. Winning the bronze medal for consumer math In Family Consumer Science Assessment is Lisa Garza. Winning also bronze for Hospitality Family Consumer Science Assessment, Adriana Vasquez. And in third place in the Chapter Service Project Portfolio, Occupational is Sidney Shell and Henry Arredondo. Congratulations to these winners from the Culinary Chapter of FCCLA and Chef Cortez. Continuing on with the third chapter, the FCCLA RAM chapter, under the sponsorship of Linda Corbell. The bronze medals for Family and Consumer Science Assessments, Ene Lira, Guadalupe Olvera, Madison Perkins, Ashley Martinez, and Emily Blaine. Under the STAR events placing at state, Early Childhood, third place, Jasmine Malagon. Also winning at the STAR events placing at state, Job Interview, fifth place, Jimena Trevino. STAR events also at state, Nutrition and Wellness, fourth place, Carolina Sanchez. And also at STAR events placing at state, Promote and Publicize, is third place, Madison Perkins and Nancy Marufo. The FCCLA RAM chapter sponsor is Linda Corbell. Again, congratulations to FCCLA. The next group that we're going to present tonight is Skills USA. And Skills USA is a partnership of students, teachers, industry working together to ensure that America has the skilled workforce. Skills USA helps each student excel in leadership skills, technical, engineering skills, STEM, and occupationally related skills in 12 of the cluster areas. All students are part of the CT program are eligible for membership. So we'll start off with the first group, the Construction Trades Group. These students also place at the district and advance to the state meet. The first place in a wood flag was Matthew Chavira and Ernesto Garcia. In a second category, a wood motorcycle, and all this are displayed at our CT center. Second place, Christian Perez, Marco Ojeda, Sebastian Carrillo, and Junior Rincon. A very unique project is the next one, the abstract furniture. Winning second place, Cires Medrano, Esteban Segovia, Alberto Perez, and Leonardo Pisa. Again, we're inviting you over to our CT Center so that you can see all the displays. The sponsor is Mr. Jose Mario Esquivel.
Congratulations. Good job. Very well done. Hey, good job, man. Good job, sir. Very nice. Good job.
Thank you. The next group I will present is Skills USA. This is the automotive division. Just a reminder that CT has 19 different programs. This is one of the trades and industry programs at the CT Center. This group actually won creating, taking apart, and putting back together and checking all different fluids under the cylinder head. Multiple winners. First place, Angel Hernandez. Cassandra Ortega. Second place, Mia Ramirez. Lian Perez. And second place, Jaime Trevino. Third place is Richard Chavez. The sponsor is Mr. Michael Jimenez, automotive teacher.
Congratulations. Thank you, sir. Very nice. Good job.
The next trade and industry groups to be recognized is the manufacturing cluster or the welding group under the sponsorship of Mr. Todd Townsend. These students actually competed at District USA 11 in San Antonio and then advanced to Corpus Christi at the state level, winning first place in welding live at the district level and job exhibit first place, and also advancing to the state, winning first place is Ricardo Arredondo. Winning welding job exhibit furniture first place, best of show at the district level, and also first place furniture with a grandfather clock is Bailey Billadu. Winning at the district level welding job exhibit first, and also welding job exhibit at the state is Isis Casillas. Winning related technical math, second place is Andrew Castro. Welding job exhibit at both district and state, Rudy Serna. Welding sculpture, second place, Lionel Galindo. Also winning first at district and state for Adrian Garcia in welding job exhibit. Welding job exhibit first at both district and state, Gerardo Gonzalez. Also welding job exhibits at both district and state, Abraham Gutierrez. Welding job exhibit at district and state, David Gutierrez. Winning first at district and state, Bianca Landa. Welding job exhibit first at district and state, Mark Martinez. Winning related technical math, third place, Bernardo Mesa. Welding job exhibit first at district and state, Hector Montemayor. Welding job exhibit first and also first at state, Kelvia Perez. Welding live second place and welding job exhibit first place, and also winning the job exhibit first place at state, and also the technical information bronze medal is William Riojas, who is not here tonight. Welding job exhibit first and also at the state, Alejandro Salinas. Welding job exhibit at district and state, Destiny Torres. Welding job exhibit at district and state, Adrian Urbina. Welding application, second place, and welding job exhibits, first place, and also at the state level, first place in job welding exhibit is Jessica Uribe. Welding job exhibit at district and state, Cesar Vasquez. And welding job exhibit at the district and state level, Sarai Zuniga. Congratulations to all these students. Some of them could not be here with us tonight. And also the sponsor, Mr. Todd Townsend.
Good job. Right now. Congratulations. Congratulations. Good job, man. Congratulations. Good job. Good job. Good job. Hey, good job.
The next group that we're going to present is the award-winning robotics program. And I'm going to pass it over to our co-head coach, Lauren Cardenas.
Good evening. 2019 was an exciting year for robotics. Texas and New Mexico combined to form the first in Texas district. Over 180 teams competed in multiple events throughout the region, culminating in a district championship in Austin, Texas. I am proud to say that out of the 180 teams throughout Texas and New Mexico, Del Rio's FRC Team 4063 finished ranked number 16. Even though the season is not over, 4063 has covered new territory and made great strides in the robotics world. Here's a quick list of accomplishments. At the UIL State Championships, for the first time in our history, we advanced to the semifinals. The team was selected by World Hall of Fame finalist 2468 from Austin Westlake and Team 118 from NASA, yes, NASA, to join in an alliance. Our team was selected by these world-class teams due to our robot's sturdy and innovative chassis design, as well as our reputation to play tough defense. For the first time in Del Rio history, we hosted one of the largest and most successful robotics events in Texas. 40 teams competed here, bringing a positive economic impact to our community of over $300,000, as well as gaining tons and tons of new Bunny fans across the city. At the El Paso district event, for the first time in our history, we won the most prestigious award in FIRST Robotics, the District Chairman's Award. This award recognized the team for its community outreach and engagement with local leaders, as well as its reputation for volunteering and making robotics an integral part of Del Rio. Additionally, 4063 won the Excellence in Engineering Award, the Safety Award, and the Team Spirit Award this season. And the season is not over yet. We leave tomorrow afternoon for the first World Championships in Houston, Texas. Robotics teams rely heavily on mentors to motivate, inspire, and coach its students, and Team 4063 is no exception. We have been fortunate to have a team of coaches, including Bill Davis, Brad Bilodeau, James Millender, Linda Davis, and myself, as well as a reliable team of mentors, including Jesse Hernandez, Twana Bilodeau, Mike Mormon, and Mike and Kate Altman, to help our students through every step of the way. And finally, we send a huge thank you to all the volunteers, community leaders, sponsors, and district personnel who helped make the Del Rio event a success. And we can't wait to do it again next year. On behalf of all of us, we thank you for an incredible season, and check us out at the World Competition this week in Houston. Follow us on Facebook to watch our matches.
Best wishes. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck, y'all. Good luck. Good luck. Good luck.
On behalf of CTE, we'd like to thank administration and the community for this great support that we have in multiple programs. Of course, this huge event with the robotics and the welding program this year just made it all worthwhile. Thank you.
Let's hear it one more time for all of the students with the CTE program. Thank you, Roger. Okay, at this time, we're on 4D, recognition of family, career, and consumer leaderships of America.
Ms. Guanajuato Webb, Dr. Rios, members of the board. I'd like to present Ms. Linda Corbell. The Family, Career, and Consumer Leaders of America, also known as FCCLA, each year selects an advisor to receive the Spirit of Advising Award from both the state and national headquarters. The chapter advisor, who is constantly faithful, often quietly working behind the scenes to ensure the success of their students, is chosen for this award. The advisor must also be patient, have a good sense of humor, be flexible, and skills to form a FCCLA foundation at the local and at the state level. This year, recipient of the Spirit of Advising Award for the state of Texas goes to our very own Linda Corbell. This is what some of the other FCCLA advisors say about Ms. Corbell. Linda embodies everything that makes up a great advisor. Fun, patient, goes the extra mile, lifelong positive influence on students, cares about the needs of all students, motivates, corrects students when allowing them to retain their dignity, spends countless hours preparing her students through FCCLA courses, and above all, is a positive role model for students and advisors alike. Ms. Corbell wears many hats at Del Rio High School. She is a family consumer science education and training teacher, the CT department leader, the FCCLA student sponsor, the National Technical Honor Society advisor, and was recently selected as Del Rio High School's Teacher of the Year. In 2016, she was also recognized from the Family Consumer Science teacher as the Texas Teacher of the Year for FCCLA. Congratulations, Ms. Corbell, on this and many honors you have received throughout your 30 years in education. We are extremely proud that you're part of our school district and especially our CT family. Once again, thank you for your support of all CT programs.
Thank you, sir. At this time, we go to item 4E, recognition of Campus Teacher of the Month. Aide Garcia.
Good evening. Good evening, Mrs. Guanajuato Webb, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. The Teacher of the Month program is designed to spotlight our most dedicated and talented teachers. Tonight, we are proud to introduce our March Teacher of the Month for each campus. At this time, I'll turn it over to the principals so they can let us know what sets these teachers apart.
Good evening, Mrs. Guanajuato Webb, Dr. Rios, members of the board. It is my pleasure to introduce to you our Teacher of the Month, Mrs. Sonia Peña. We are grateful to have Mrs. Peña as part of our Del Rio High School family. She works hard to provide the support that our students that are learning English, and she also helps all of the teachers that are helping these students. We're so grateful for her to be able to help Del Rio High School and Del Rio Freshman School with this difficult challenge, which she's doing very well. Congratulations, Mrs. Peña.
Good evening, Mrs. Guanajuato Webb, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. Blended Academy's Teacher of the Month is Ms. Cindy Hunkin. Ms. Hunkin has been at Blended Academy since day one. Previously, she had been an instructional coach for 2 years. When Ms. Hunkin heard about Blended Academy and the type of at-risk students that would attend and she would help, she decided to apply and go back into the classroom. She knew and understood that in order for the students to succeed and see results, she would have to build those relationships, make those lessons relevant, engaging, and rigorous. Ms. Hunkin also knew that not all minds work the same. Therefore, her lessons would be designed with a differentiated method of learning with their students' needs in mind. She is such a great asset to Blended Academy, consistently going above and beyond, always willing to help others with their knowledge, expertise, resources, and ideas. Thank you, Ms. Hunkin. It is truly an honor and blessing to have you at Team Blended Academy.
Good evening. This month, Early College High School is celebrating Miss Audrey Ariola as Teacher of the Month. Miss Ariola is a graduate of Texas A&M University and joined our team this year. She teaches chemistry and environmental systems. She is patient and kind to all students and staff and wants to grow her capacity as a teacher in order to make a difference. One of the first things she did last summer was attend an advanced placement conference in Dallas to help her incorporate rigor and relevance in her classroom. And during one of our first conversations that I had with Ms. Ariola, she credited so many people at the high school and her counselors and commented that that is exactly what she wants to do and give back to her community. So congratulations, Mrs. Ariola.
Good evening, Dr. Rios, members of the board. Mr. David Byers, the SGLC Teacher of the Month. Mr. Byers has been teaching at the SGLC for now 20 years, and last year cleaned up over 5,000 student files in Plato for the district. He currently serves as a representative for the teacher on the Teacher Forum and rarely misses a day as well. Now, there's no higher honor than to be esteemed by your peers, and here are a few comments by Mr. Byers' peers. By Ms. Margot Roseno, Mr. Byers is a true professional who puts his students first. I've known and worked with him for many years and wish him the best. Mr. Ivan Gonzalez, I'd like to thank Mr. Byers for always being willing to assist me with any questions I have. As a first-year teacher, I feel much supported by his input and advice, not to mention his skyward expertise. Mr. Byers has definitely contributed to making my first year here at the SGLC a successful one so far, and for that, I am very grateful. Eligio and Santa Castañeda. Eligio and I have known and worked with Mr. Byers for several years. We both concur that he is a man of utmost dedication. He is the first to arrive at school each day and one of the last ones to leave. Even though it is neither required nor asked of him, he is the one to raise the U.S. flag each morning and take it down in the evening before he leaves. He is also the one who will stand outside, rain or shine, hot or cold, with the students until it is time for them to enter the building before classes begin. One never hears a word of complaint because he is a kind-hearted man who has the interest of our students in mind. He is most deserving of being the 2018-2019 Teacher of the Month for the SGLC. These words are well articulated by his peers, and I can do no better. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Byers, the SGLC Teacher of the Month.
Good evening, Dr. Rios, Vice President Guanajuato Webb, members of the board. With me this evening is Miss Ileana Castillo. Ileana is the Del Rio freshman dance teacher. She is also the Sapphire sponsor and assists Mr. Rios with flags. Ms. Castillo is dedicated to the success of her students and can be seen arriving early and staying late as her Sapphires prepare for competition. Her commitment to success can be seen in the results. This past weekend, her girls competed in San Antonio and received first place in the hip-hop routine, second place in jazz, pom-pom, and ensemble routines, and third place overall. Thank you, Ms. Castillo, for being a part of Del Rio Freshmen and a wonderful mentor to your students.
Good evening, Dr. Rios and members of the board. It is an honor to recognize Coach Angelica Rivera as the 8th grade Teacher of the Month. Coach Rivera truly models the success of Grow Our Own, supported by our district. She started her career as an instructional aide 8 years ago and quickly proceeded in the leadership role as the Del Rio Middle School Girls Athletic Coordinator while continuing as head coach for basketball and track. However, her success extends off the court in her commitment in supporting and encouraging academics with over 200 girls while maintaining a 92 passing rate. Thank you, Coach Rivera, in playing a vital role in building confidence and positive self-esteem in our middle school girls. Thank you.
Good evening, Board President, Superintendent, and Board members. Tonight, it's my pleasure to introduce to you the Teacher of the Month for 7th grade at Del Rio Middle School. Mr. John Reed has been working with the school district for a total of 23 years. 17 of those years have been as a classroom teacher. Mr. Reed is currently the Gateway to Technology instructor at Del Rio Middle School and holds multiple certificates in the area. Students are actively engaged with activities that show them how technology is used in engineering to solve everyday problems. Recently, Mr. Reed took a group of students to the Project Lead the Way Summit in San Antonio to showcase what Del Rio Middle School students are doing. Some of the wise words that were used by our Del Rio Middle School students at the summit were, You can show people who you are and what you want to become. Curiosity helps the mind grow. It's okay to fail, and the program has taught students that there are many career paths for everyone. Mr. Reed, thank you for sharing your talents with the leaders of tomorrow. Congratulations.
Excuse me, Ms. Zuniga, before you start. Let the
Yes.
record show that Mr. Ken Smith has now joined the board at 6:58. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
We are very proud of our Teacher of the Month at San Felipe Memorial Middle School, Elisa Jimenez. She co-teaches reading and coaches our award-winning UIL teams in dictionary skills and maps, graphs, and charts. She is student-centered. She's organized and ensures that her students' modifications and accommodations are always followed. She works collaboratively with her peers to make sure that every student's needs are met. If students are struggling with attendance or mastery, she looks for creative ways to attempt that TEK or that lesson. Ms. Jimenez always has a happy disposition and truly wants what is best for her students. Awesome job, Ms. Jimenez. You make a difference every single day. Congratulations.
Good evening, Mrs. Webb, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. I am proud to introduce to you our Cardwell March Teacher of the Month, Ms. Wendy Torres. Ms. Torres is a former Head Start parent, and now I am so proud to say she is a fully certified Head Start pre-K teacher. Although this is only her second year teaching, Ms. Torres is an innovative and energetic teacher to her youngest learners, our 3-year-old children. She is highly creative, organized, and she does everything that she can for her students and her families. She is consistently engaging her students with lessons and activities that promote school readiness. She is fun, she's dependable, and she has such a positive attitude that is contagious amongst all of her colleagues. We are so proud of your accomplishments, Ms. Torres, and to call you one of our beautiful Cardwell Cubs.
Good evening. RBB Elementary's Teacher of the Month is Mrs. Kelly Weatherly. She is our kindergarten teacher. She coached robotics this year. She is the campus representative on the teacher forum, and she volunteered at our first district event back for our bunnies this past month. Mrs. Weatherly has been involved in every aspect of the students' lives at RBB Elementary, as well as at our parent outreach programs. She is creative and likes to bring hands-on experiences to our youngest Falcons. Mrs. Weatherly came in early this summer in June from Wichita Falls to come and train for Project Lead the Way launch curriculum. And then she came back in July to come and make sure that our STEM camp had the kindergarten teacher represented there so that she could meet more than half of her future students. Thank you, Mrs. Weatherly, for making our little Falcons soar.
Good evening, Ms. Guanajuato Webb, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. It is our pleasure at Buena Vista to present Mrs. Teresa Gregg, our master reading teacher at our campus. Mrs. Gregg is a motivated, enthusiastic, and committed teacher who has great respect and gratitude for her profession. She works diligently to get our Tier 3 students to forge ahead and accomplish their goals. She is notorious for closing reading gaps for our students through hard work, encouragement, and motivation. She gets to the heart of the students and inspires them to be the best versions of themselves. She is constantly pitching in on campus, whether it is chairing the Science Fair Committee or sharing her green thumb for our annual Beautify Buena Vista. She is always coming up and supporting ideas that will make the students shine at Buena Vista. Mrs. Gregg, you are truly a leader on our campus and continue to leave your legacy each day. We love you.
Good evening, Mrs. Webb, Dr. Rios, members of the board. We are so proud to recognize Ms. Melissa Guerra for the month of March, the teacher of the month of March. She is our grade level leader in second grade. In her warm and cordial way, Ms. Guerra has planned for and led changes with great ideas and methods this year. Her beautiful personality makes her a loved teacher all around the campus. She has high expectations for her students and helps them work hard to achieve the goals they have set for themselves. She uses positives, which she calls positives, and celebrations to motivate and recognize individual leadership skills, strengths, and accomplishments. Congratulations, Mrs. Guerra. We thank you for being Coyote Pride.
Good evening, Dr. Rios, Mrs. Webb, and members of the board. Ruben Chavira is very proud to present Petty Hernandez as the Teacher of the Month. Ms. Petty Hernandez earns the admiration and respect of her students, their parents, and their colleagues for the genuine care and compassion she has for her second grade bilingual students at Ruben Chavira Elementary School. Her passion for the bilingual program, her dedication, and the commitment to her team are admirable. No is not a word you hear from Ms. Hernandez too often. The values and work ethics she instills in her students is invaluable as they continue their path through school. She sets the bar high for her colleagues, and Ruben Chavira Elementary cherishes all that she adds to our school. Congratulations, Pat.
Thank you. Good evening, Ms. Guanajuato Webb and board members and Dr. Rios. Tonight, I have the privilege of introducing Ms. Melissa Sandoval as our March Teacher of the Month for Garfield Elementary. Ms. Sandoval teaches fourth grade writing, and she is in her second year of teaching. She was new to Garfield this year, however, she quickly became acclimated to our school. She jumped right in and gave her time to UIL. She helped with student council and the homecoming float. She helps decorate for school functions, and along with her action team, decorated the halls for our first round of STAR testing. She works positively with her colleagues and strives to make a difference both academically and socially with our students and school. In class, you will always see her students engaged in learning and working positively with peers. And Ms. Sandoval also works closely with her inclusion staff to optimize instruction for our special education students. So whether her actions directly impact instruction or if she's working to enhance our culture and climate at Garfield, Ms. Sandoval has definitely been a great asset to our Garfield family. Thank you, Ms. Sandoval. We are greatness, we are family, we are Garfield.
Thank you. Good evening. It is my pleasure to present Mr. Roy Dominguez as the Lonnie Green Teacher of the Month for March. Mr. Dominguez was awarded the Education Foundation grant that provided 5 coral tanks for our campus. He worked with teachers to host and set up tanks complete with live coral and clownfish. Mr. D is always encouraging students and teachers to do just a little more, to work just a little harder, or to give just a few more minutes to make Lonnie Green the best campus in the district. Mr. D is always ready with an encouraging word and some big plans to inspire students to do their best. Congratulations, Mr. D, you are LGE Excellence.
Good evening, Dr. Rios, Vice President, Guanajuato Webb, members of the board. This evening, it is my pleasure to introduce to you Lamar Elementary's Teacher of the Month, Ms. Elcia Guajardo. Ms. Guajardo, or Ms. G, as her students lovingly refer to her, joined the 5th grade team this year and hit the ground running. From collaborative planning for the new math curriculum to helping organize the numerous events 5th grade holds, she continues to contribute in whatever she can to ensure our students have opportunities to be successful and to be involved. Whatever the role may be, Ms. Guajardo is ready and willing to do her part, all with a beautiful smile. She has been such a great asset to Lamar and her team. Congratulations, Ms. Guajardo, you are Lamar Pride.
Good evening, Dr. Rios, Mrs. Guanajuato Webb, and members of the board. North Heights Elementary celebrates Mr. Kevin Adair as our March Teacher of the Month. Mr. Adair serves as our music teacher and has created an environment for learning where students see connections across multiple contents. Mr. Adair serves to enrich students with learning opportunities outside of his classroom. With his help, third grade students receive small group instruction for reading supports. He also serves as our UIL coach, choir club sponsor, and teamed up with our Stuco sponsor to create a talent show worthy of some district winners. Mr. Adair is a helping hand and mentor to students across our campus. We are honored to call him a chief. Thank you for your commitment to our tribe. Our students absolutely appreciate you.
Dr. Pettis. 2 rows. Good job, sir. Congratulations. All right, Roy. Good job. Thank you. Good job. Good job. Oh. Good job. Good job. Thank you. Good job.
One of my parents, Wendy Torres. Thank you.
Good job. Good job. Good job, sir. Thank you. Dr. F said he would do that now. Give him a minute to walk out.
Okay. Fifth grader now. I took his sanitizer. Mr. Smith's sanitizer because he didn't have one.
Mm-hmm.
Took away his sanitizer because he didn't have one. I don't have one.
Oh, right.
So you're gonna
More
get those.
Amy's.
Joke and I stole his. Where'd I get one? I guess they think I'm clean. Not that clean. I got all these people here.
hanging out. Just hanging out.
Did anybody sign up?
We are now on item 5 of our agenda, citizens to be heard. The board will hear comments from the audience only during the public comment portion of the meeting. The public comment portion of the meeting will be no more than 30 minutes total. Each speaker will be allowed a maximum of 5 minutes to address the board. Groups of 5 or more people who wish to express the same viewpoint regarding an issue must appoint a representative to speak for the group, who will have 5 minutes to present. Please respect the privacy of others and refrain from identifying students, employees, or other community members by name. Disruption of the meeting will not be tolerated at any time. And we have one person that signed up for citizens' comments. So at this time, I call Mrs. Laura Garcia. Topic to be addressed is cafeteria issues.
Buenas tardes, Miss Guanajuato. Yo nada más estoy aquí para support, ¿ok? Buenas tardes, miembros de la mesa directiva, Dr. Ríos, superintendente. Mi nombre es Marcela González, soy miembro de la Asociación de las Señoras de las Cafeterías y soy líder de la organización fronteriza.
Good evening, school board members and Superintendent Rios. My name is Laura Garcia, a member of the Cafeteria Workers Association and leader of the board organization. We would like to inform the school board this evening about the meeting we had with food service staff, Mr. David Perales, Mr. Javier Romero, and Mr. Arredondo this morning. It was very good and productive meeting. We discussed the need to return the monthly meetings with cafeteria personnel and food service staff. Also, the cafeteria manager being part of the interviewing process concerning their cafeteria. We discussed and established a process and reporting and fixing equipment. We would like to thank Mr. Arredondo on his prompt attention to the equipment issue. We also discussed that priority be given to school cafeteria workers when there are openings. We also discussed with them, as we did with some of you board members, summer school pay. We would like to see this item placed on next month's agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we move forward to item 6, public hearings. We have none. So now we are on number 7 of our agenda, board members' report. Under State Board of Education rules, completing required continuing education each year of service is a basic obligation and expectation of any sitting board member. As a presiding board member, I am required to announce the name of each member who as of that member's anniversary of election to the San Felipe Del Rio CISD Board of Trustees, has completed the required continuing education, has exceeded the required continuing education, and is defiant in meeting the required continuing education. There are 4 tiers or categories of board members' continuing education. Tier 1, local district organization, basic legal organization, and legal update training. Tier 2, team building training with all board members and the superintendent. Tier 3, annual continuing education. Tier 4, evaluating and improving student outcome. To the extent applicable to board members under the legal requirements of the 4 tiers, I will announce a completed or deficiency as to required training. For members who still have time remaining to complete required training, I will announce those board members who have scheduled timely training and those who have not yet scheduled the training. At the conclusion of this announcement, I will announce any board members' training in excess of the continuing education requirements. Tier 1, Organization and Legal Update Training. Local District Orientation Training. The following first-year board members have completed Tier 1 Local District Orientation Training. Fred Contreras and Linda Guanajuato Webb. Basic Orientation Legal Training. The following first-year board members have completed the Tier 1 Basic Orientation Training requiring the Texas Education Code and relevant legal obligations. Fred Contreras and Linda Guanajuato Webb. Tier 2, Team Building Training. The following board members have completed the required team building training. Fred Contreras, Diana Gonzalez, Amy Haynes Sanders, Raymond Mesa, Joshua Overfeld, Ken Smith, Linda Guanajuato Webb. Tier 3, Team Building Training. The following board members have completed the Tier 3 Annual Continuing Education Requirements. Fred Contreras, Diana Gonzalez, Amy Haynes Sanders, Raymond Mesa, Joshua Overfeld, Ken Smith, and Linda Guanajuato Webb. Tier 4, Evaluating and Improving Student Outcome Training. The following board members have completed the required training on evaluating and improving student outcome. SB 1566, Fred Contreras, Diana Gonzalez, Amy Haynes Sanders, Raymond Mesa, Joshua Overfeld, Kent Smith, and Linda Guanajuato Webb. Exceeding required continuing education. Board member Fred Contreras has exceeded the required amount of required continuing education training by 27 additional hours. Board member Diana Gonzalez exceeded the required amount of required continuing education training by 21 additional hours. Board member Amy Haynes Sanders exceeded the required amount of required continuing education training by 12.5 additional hours. Board member Raymond Mesa exceeded the required amount of additional training by 9.75 additional hours. Board member Joshua Overfeld exceeded the required amount of required continuing education training by 18 additional hours. Board member Ken Smith exceeded the required amount of required continuing education training by 0.50 additional hours. Board member Linda Guanajuato Webb exceeded the required amount of continuing education training by 16.5 additional hours. And that concludes the report. We now move on to item 8, a report, the health plan update report, 8A, Aide Garcia.
Good evening, Mrs. Guanajuato Webb, Dr. Rios, members of the board. Tonight we have Greg Coldway from Brown & Brown Insurance who will give us an update on our health insurance.
Yes, good evening, everyone. So, right about a year ago, we were hired as your consultants with Brown & Brown. This is a quick snapshot of who we are as a firm. It's just we're a very large national insurance firm. Wanted to give you a brief history of our involvement with the district. So we were hired about this time last year to serve as a consultant for your employee benefit programs. We immediately set out, because of the timing, to market all the voluntary non-medical plans for an effective date of September 1, which we did. We implemented new online enrollment platforms. We engaged in face-to-face enrollment and education activities with all your employees over the summer. And then we did and started an RFP for your medical plan late August, September of last year. So the big picture result of all of that RFP process, as you were involved in that selection, was Aetna was selected as the claims and benefit and pharmacy benefit administrator. And we then went through another enrollment process for the medical plan in the fall of 2018. So that leads us to where we are today. With the district having a very comprehensive benefit program, we have excellent medical benefits, life insurance in various forms, disability insurance, dental, vision, critical illness, accident, cancer. All of these products are high quality and most of them have multi-year rate guarantees, so we expect some price stability over the next few years. So we feel good about where you are, and think it's been a good transition over the last 12 months. So wanted to give you a brief history. We've not been involved with the district all of this time, but we do have the records and the data. So your medical plan specifically, as you know, is self-insured, so we keep fairly meticulous records and data on all kinds of things and expenditures. So this is just a 3-year snapshot of the past 3 years, what we expect for 2019. So 2016, well, first let me go by each component, each lines, just to explain what those line items are, and then you can understand the chart slightly better. Fixed cost is a component of what we pay, what the district pays for administration of the plan and for the insurance, the stop-loss insurance that protects the plan. The claims liability is the maximum amount that the district might ever pay in a given year for medical claims. The actual paid claims are what actually were incurred and paid by the district. Generally, that would be much less than your claims liability. Pharmacy rebates are a difficult thing to understand, but essentially the manufacturers of pharmaceuticals rebate back to users or payers for incorporating their drug on a formulary that flows back through your administrator. Stop-loss insurance is designed, again, to protect the plan from a catastrophic claim. And so we get down, when you net all that out, to a net employer cost. What does the plan actually cost for a given year? And we bump that up against plan revenue. So revenue is essentially the district contribution into the plan and the employee's contribution into the plan. So we lump all that together, we call that plan revenue, and then we get a net number. So what you see is in 2016, we were negative by over $2 million, meaning the cost exceeded the revenue by over $2 million. Same thing in 2017, about $1.5 million. And then in 2018, you notice that your plan revenue went up dramatically. That was because the district budgeted and incorporated a lot more money into the plan. You increased your contribution from the district side into the plan. Also happened to fall that claims were slightly less, so that created a very good scenario where you had net positive growth in your plan assets. So I know that's a lot of numbers, and we're happy to go into as much detail as you would like. 2019 projection, as it sits today, I believe you're going to do very, very well. The main thing that we don't know what's going to happen as far as claims costs, but what I do know is that even if we go to a worst case scenario, meaning that we go to our maximum claims liability under our stop-loss contract, that the plan revenue is adequate to cover that worst case scenario and provide us a very small surplus. We hope that it turns out better than that, but we know that you have adequate revenue to fund your worst case scenario, and that's what we're always hoping for. So any questions from board members or Dr. Rios about this information? To sum it up, district's health plan is very, very healthy. You're in good shape. You were able to continue with the exact same benefits that you had previously without raising any employee contributions. We were able to back the district contributions off back to where they were in 2017, and we have a healthy plan. So all in all, You guys are in great shape. We're pleased to work with you, and everything is going fine for your health plan. Okay. Any questions from members? Okay, thank you. This last slide, I'll spend no time on it. We have 2 months of data into this plan year, so I just did a quick snapshot of the first 2 months of the plan year. It's what it is. It's your first 2 months are going fine. I just got data actually while I was here today for March. It's going to look fine. So all is well with the health plan, and we're happy to answer any questions.
I believe Mr. Smith had a comment.
Yeah, just a comment. At the end of the day, I don't know if the speaker's working. Is it? Oh. Just a comment more than anything. I mean, from where we were at, and you guys have been a good partner. And I thank you for that stability. We needed it, and I appreciate that piece of it for sure.
Mr. Overfeld?
You talked about the past year being good and compared to 2017 and all that, and being able to help the district and not having to raise on the employee side. Are you predicting that we'll be in that same position coming into the budget cycle here in just a couple of months?
That would be my expectation, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is 8B, San Felipe Del Rio CISD Athletic Update. Rick Smith.
It's not the right one. That's the one from last time. Good evening, Ms. Guanajuato Webb, Dr. Rios, board members. I'm going to give you a brief update on our athletic program. Our academics for the fourth 6 weeks, the fifth 6 weeks ended Friday, so May board meeting, I'll update you on the fifth 6 weeks. Overall, we've got an 88.4 passing rate. That's a plus 4.9% from last 6 weeks. Del Rio High School is at 92.1, increase of 4.7%. The freshman campus is 89.4, plus 7.3%. And Del Rio Middle School is at 83.6%, and that's a 2.6% increase. Our current district standings, boys soccer finished their season. Overall, they were 11-9-5, 11 wins, 9 losses, 5 ties, 3-5-4 in district, and finished in 6th place out of the playoffs. Baseball currently in season with 3 games remaining. Overall, they're 8-11-1, 3-6 in district, and in 5th place, 1 place out of the playoffs. 2 places, though, out of 4th place. So we got to win 2 of the 3, or hopefully all 3. Boys golf finished their district tournament schedule in 3rd place at the district meet, and we had 1 regional qualifier. Boys track and field finished 2nd at our district meet, and we qualified 12 individuals to the area meet, which is this Thursday. And boys tennis had 1 regional qualifier. On the girls' side, our girls' soccer team finished the season 11-8-3, 6-4-2 in district, finished 3rd place in the district, and were by-district qualifiers. We lost in the by-district round 2-0 to La Jolla Juarez Lincoln. Softball currently 16 wins, 11 losses, 8-2 in district, currently in second place with 2 games remaining. Still got a shot to hopefully win the district championship. Girls golf just finished their district schedule, finished 4th at the district tournament. Girls track were the defending district champs and were the district champions again. We qualified 17 athletes to the area meet. And then girls tennis finished their season last week. We had no regional qualifiers. Any questions?
Yeah, I got a couple
Mr. Smith?
of questions, comments maybe. Thank you for the update, by the way. Appreciate that.
You're welcome.
From a strategic plan standpoint, where do we've seen some interest in maybe doing some work on that middle school football field, and then I've heard some interest about weight rooms, and I've heard interest about doing some things there with the baseball. Where do you think you want to put your emphasis at as far as money is concerned, where you'd like to spend those money?
Of the 3, probably the middle school football field. I think right now it's a safety hazard.
Yeah, I agree with you. I went and looked at it, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and it's hard as this floor is, and lots of holes and uneven ground, and I would agree with you. I just wanted to hear it from you. So, yeah.
Yes, sir. Hopefully we start there and then do the other 2 also.
Yeah. There's always a need. So, yeah.
Anyone else?
Any other? Okay,
Mr. Smith, thank you so much for the updates. Those are very important to us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you all.
Next on our agenda is item 8C, Facilities and Construction Report. Les Henge.
Good evening. This is Guanajuato Webb, Dr. Rios, members of the board. Okay, for our Facilities and Construction Monthly Report, we'll take a look at service ticket summaries for maintenance, technology, and transportation. New construction for Dr. Lonnie Green parking lot expansion and Del Rio High School 200-400 wing renovation, as well as the dining hall renovation. Energy savings project, I'll be able to provide you with an update as to the progress on that throughout the district as well as the high school. And then I'll have a brief summary of the Operations Committee update discussing budget status, pending projects, and then I'll be willing to take any questions that you may have. So for the Maintenance Department ticket summary, tickets are down for this month. The 30-day, 60, and 90-day are all down. We still have some ground to cover yet, but currently our 30-day old tickets are at 242, and we have 161 that are 90 days old. The technology department saw a slight increase on the 30-day tickets to 159. 60-day tickets were up to 6, and the 90-day tickets are slightly down to just 5 outstanding. Transportation department, the 30-day tickets are down to 29, 60-day tickets are up to 10, and 90-day are down to 2. The Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary parking lot expansion, tonight we'll be seeking board approval to move forward with the construction document phase of that project. Pending approval, our next phase then would be to start receiving bids for general contractors, and then we would vent those out and bring those back for board recommendation. Looking right now at bringing those back in next month. The Del Rio High School 200 wing renovation is well on the way. I've updated the schedule on the right-hand side of this slide, and I've included some photos to show the paneling that's been taken off the walls. Frontera Construction is moving forward with the renovation component to this, and Snyder is projecting, I believe, roughly 2 more weeks yet on the majority of the heating and air conditioning equipment there. So right now we have a lot of moving parts in that 200 wing, but right now we're being told that everything will be completed on time as expected. 400 wing renovation. I'm starting to include this even though we won't be starting any demo in that area until after school lets out. I want to make sure that for transparency that we're keeping up with the schedule and what that potentially is going to look like moving forward. And at the bottom I've added the furniture delivery date of roughly 12/16 right now. So basically after Christmas break, class would resume in the 400 wing as long as everything stays on schedule. Dining hall renovation. I've started to track a log on the project history as well as the schedule with this one as well. This picture here shows what it currently looks like, and then the red area would be under renovation, and that's that wall that would be coming down that currently separates the cafeteria from the auxiliary gym. And then this is what we're proposing that it would look like. This item also has a agenda item tonight for moving forward with construction documents as well. Same scenario, it would go out for bid, we'd go through the vetting process and then bring a recommendation back to the board as soon as possible. Del Rio High School mechanical progress report. What I'm going to start doing with this is I've underlined and also did a bold italic so the board as well as the public has the opportunity to see where this project was last month. So the chilled water pump replacements, there was some work completed there. Condenser pump, old gym pipe, asbestos abatement, all these different areas that are underlined are areas that we've made significant improvements, and as you can see, the mechanical progress is getting close on that piece of the project. District interior lighting report. I followed the same format. SGLC, North Heights, Chavita, Calderon, as well as a little bit at Cardwell was worked on last month for interior lighting. We're still making advances on that, and we do have these other areas that are still being targeted as well. For example, 6th grade is currently at 86% complete. One of the main reasons they're moving around at some of these locations is waiting on the exact equipment to get in, so the contractor wants to keep moving forward as well. So next month we should see more of an update on some of those other areas. Exterior lighting, we had some work that was completed at Cardwell, Del Rio Middle School, Buena Vista, Warehouse, Blended Academy, and Garfield Elementary. The HVAC automation controls, there was some work that was completed at 6th grade. Down here at this location, CTE, Early College, and Del Rio High School. And then the Operations Committee update budget status. I provided in your PowerPoint packet there a list of the projects that are currently in the works, as well as the budget or the balance of that budget on the right-hand side. So for the first item there, construction, it has the 2 construction projects that are pending quotes. We've already established those budgets though, so at this point that $1 million would carry a balance of 0 until the purchases were made, and then there should be a little bit of favorability there. On the operations side, I've supplied a list of everything that has gone through the operations committee and brought to the board for approval, and again, where that budget sits. So under the operations portion, there's $119,835 that's unallocated at this point. Under technology refresh, same process. We went through the operations committee, brought it to the board. These were projects we felt we could get completed within this budget year, and currently that budget sits at $1,028,522.60. We will have an ask later to try and reallocate that monies for the future construction needs that we need here at the district. A good portion or a good reason for that is the amount of time in which we have to spend this money at with technology and with the number of projects that technology already has on its list for this summer. We feel at this point that that money could better be used for some of the facility needs that we have in the district. Del Rio High School proposed project. One area of concern is the ceiling renovations. As we've been looking more into this, we've identified that the ceiling does not contain asbestos. However, we're not just looking at the cafeteria ceiling, we're looking at the entire mall area as well as around the library area. Numbers have not come in on that yet. We've started working some square footage numbers, and right now I really feel more comfortable disclosing those numbers after I have some more contractors look into it, because the number is extremely high. But nonetheless, there was definitely concerns to get that done as we're making all these other modifications or improvements, if you will, to the high school. Another project that we have on our list is Del Rio freshman student and staff restrooms. Shown here on this slide, you can see the current status of staffing restroom on the left and student on the right. The life skills unit located over at freshman. We also would like to move forward on a renovation with that, so we're doing some discovery work with the architect and looking at a few different options. And then the Del Rio Middle School turf. These pictures here show what the current status of that ground is like out there, because it's natural grass, it's not turf at this point. And last year we did do a study, natural grass versus turf, and the results of that study was it was going to be a safer product to move forward on the turf. The payback was going to be a lot sooner than what that natural grass was going to be, plus we were going to have the labor to maintain that with irrigation. There's pump issues up there because it sits up on a hill, so it's much higher than what the water level is. So with all those challenges, we do have a bid out right now, or a request for bid on the just installing turf out there, and we'll have those numbers and present those to the board as well in the near future, hopefully next month. Questions? There's a lot there.
Any questions, comments?
Yeah, I got a couple. So going back to your ticket summary, for more so from a maintenance standpoint, can you, I'm sure you can, break that down by department or by campus or by function? In other words, like, really what I'm looking for is I've got this hypothesis, right, and I think that we've talked about it quite a bit the past month or two with Irene Cardwell and that school being in the condition it is. And do you have any maintenance information for corrective maintenance items that would send us in a direction and give us some information that would tell us whether that hypothesis is a fact or not?
Yes, anything that goes into the ticket system via text, we can spin a report off of that. I can definitely supply that. Now, if tickets have not been created because they were deemed to be bigger projects, they may have not have been put in the system, but definitely day-to-day operational items, break fix.
Okay, and then connected with that is some type of, I don't know if you want to call it an evidence report or something like that, where you go around look in the deep, dark corners of that campus and see if there's code issues that would create hazards for our kids in that campus that we need to be aware of, kind of thing.
Yes, sir, and we've Chief Maldonado and myself met with Ms. Adams last week on safety and security piece of that, and we did identify a lot of hazards with the building and everything else. So we're actually working on the PowerPoint now, so that will be available.
You've already got it
in the upcoming days.
In the works then. Okay. Awesome. That's all I've got.
Anyone else? Ms. Gonzalez?
Yeah, tomorrow we're having that workshop. Is this working? Tomorrow we're having that workshop. Is that going to be included, the maintenance part that you're mentioning? Can you include them, and can you?
As far as the current hazards that are out there that we walked through last week, that will most definitely be available. Okay. As far as maintenance tickets that have been put in, I may need a few days to put that together.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hange. Appreciate it. Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Haynes?
No, that's okay. If you could, for tomorrow at the workshop, if you could have the information about the turf again as well.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll that as well. And also, I'd like to know how many injuries and kids getting hurt out there on this, because this doesn't look too safe. If I could get that information as well.
If I may, ma'am, we'll send that information, the board update. Tomorrow is specifically about Cardwell, and that's how we posted it.
Yes, that'll be good.
But we'll definitely put in a board update. The athletic director, Mr. Henge, and the trainers will get together and put that. If we're not able to provide it this week, the following week for sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, not hearing any. Thank you, Mr. Hange. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda is item 9, consent agenda. At this time, please look at the consent agenda, and you have been given a revised board workshop dating March 23rd. There were some corrections to the minutes, so if y'all can look at that. And if there are any items that need to be pulled for discussion, please indicate so. And if there are none, one motion will approve all the items on consent agenda. Madam Secretary? Yes, ma'am.
I just wanted to ask did he sit down already, Mr. Henge?
Mr. Henge?
You put something on our here, placemats or whatever. On F2, it's still the correct same amount, $61,616.73. And the other one is different. Was there a math problem? It's $345,173.01, and now it's $345,109.02.
Yes, ma'am. When we had posted that, the bids closed on it on Friday, and we needed to make sure we got it in this month so we can have the furniture here by the time construction's done. So originally we did it as a not to exceed amount, and Hertz Furniture ended up being the lowest one. That's why we didn't have it named before tonight.
Okay.
I believe they were lower from the other bids by like $1,500 total, and it's still within budget though.
Okay, no, that's the only one that was changed. The other one's the same. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Overfeld?
Just a question on F1. I couldn't find in the pack. Normally when somebody bids out the truck, we get the bid sheet. Maybe I overlooked it. Did multiple people bid this truck, or more importantly, did anyone local bid this truck?
Yes, sir. We presented the bid last month.
Okay.
And we did have a local bidder that I know for sure, and we had out-of-town bidders, and the local bidder did not win the bid.
Okay. Yeah. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
Anyone else? Any other items that need to be discussed? Madam Secretary, will you read you have a question, Amy? Okay. Madam Secretary, will you read the donations?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So shall we have a motion to approve item 9?
So move.
Mr. Overfeld, second. Ms. Haynes, all in favor, indicate by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you. Madam Secretary.
Okay, monetary donations. The Spot and Pro Shop donated $235 to Buena Vista Student Council, $150 to Calderon Elementary, $192 to Calderon Student Council, $230 to North Heights Student Council. Life Touch National School Studios donated $1,571 to Del Rio High School Student Council, $216 to Early College High School, $242 to Garfield Elementary, $486 to Cardwell Elementary, $412 to Chavita Elementary, $158.10 to San Felipe Memorial Middle School. Del Rio Chamber of Commerce donated $500 to Del Rio High School ROTC. Anonymous donated $600 to Early College High School. Ileana Gauna, $90. Griselda Chafi, $90. Monica Rubio, $90. Brian Ramon, $45. Veronica Soto, $90 to Garfield Elementary Robotics. Non-monetary donations, Mr. Gaddy's, 200 pizzas, total value $1,548 to Cardwell Elementary, 100 pizzas, total value $949 to Chavita Elementary, 130 pizzas, total value $1,233.70 to Lonnie Green Elementary. Telecris Plasma Resources, canned food, total estimated value $400 to Garfield Elementary. First United Methodist Church, 60 bags of food, total estimated value $600 to Garfield Elementary. Central Church of Christ, 80 bags of snacks, total value $532.10 to Lamar Elementary. Jimmy L. Murdoch, Food and Meals, total estimated value $500 to Del Rio High School Metal Trades Welding Competition. Buffalo Wings and Rings, 2,258 free kids meal certificates and 120 book markers with free kids meal stubs, total value $12,484.50 to San Felipe Del Rio CISD. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, I'm going to ask the board if there is no objection for us to move item 12B and 12C and 13A.
We're going to move them to what?
To the next item on the agenda, since we have people from out of town right now.
No worries from me.
12B, 12C, and then 13A.
Sure.
All right. Therefore, we will, next item will be 12B, consideration to approve the construction documents phase with Amistad Construction Services Incorporated for the parking lot expansion at Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary. Leslie Henge.
Hello again. This item here is seeking approval for the construction document phase, which consists of drawings and other documents including site plan, profile, driveway sections, miscellaneous details, and stormwater pollution prevention plan. Mr. Abner or Mr. Martinez is here if you have any questions or details that you may need in regards to this item.
I don't have any questions. I've reviewed the documents and I'm comfortable.
Anybody else, any questions? Not hearing any questions, I need a motion to approve.
I can
Yes.
read the recommendation.
The recommendation, yes.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the construction documents phase with Amistad Consulting Services Incorporated for the parking lot expansion at Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary.
Okay, having heard the recommendation, Mr. Smith, second. Ms. Gonzalez, all in favor indicate by raising your hand. Motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Henge. Mr. Martinez, thank you so much. Next, we have item 12C, consideration to approve the construction documents phase with Kinsley Construction Incorporated for the renovation to the dining hall at Del Rio High School. Mr. Henge.
Thank you again. This is another one that we're seeking construction document approval tonight. This one is in regards to floor plans, elevations, electrical layout, and ADA ramp details. With the approval, we'll be looking to move this out for contractor bid and going through the vetting process as explained earlier. If anyone has any questions about the details of this project or the construction documents, we can address those. I have Mr. Kissling here tonight as well as Tony Trevino.
Any questions from board members?
Yeah, well, I mean, only one comment, which everybody knows my comment, right? At the end of the day, I like the looks of what we're trying to do there. I just really think we need to consider what we need to do with that ceiling simultaneous to that as one project. So.
And we do have a meeting in the morning to discuss that as well. So we hear you. Yes, sir.
Dr. Rios?
Just so that there's no surprises to the board at a later time, the mechanical phase of this project, because Schneider Electric had already designed it, they're going to design and build it again, but it's going to come as an addendum or a change order to the contract that we already have with Schneider Electric. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes, that is correct.
Okay, and that'll come at a later time when Schneider Electric has finished redesigning what they already designed, because obviously the change in the cafeteria is obviously a change to the physical plant. So I just don't want the board to be surprised. Now we feel that it'll still be within the budget because there is some favorability in the Schneider contract, but I don't want the board to be surprised and say, hey, we already approved this. Well, different contractor. But Kissling has done a good job in working with Schneider Electric, so I think that'll be quite seamless.
Yep, totally logical.
The recommendation?
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the construction documents phase with Kissling Architects Incorporated for renovations to the dining hall at Del Rio High School.
Okay, you have heard the recommendation. Is there a motion? Mr. Smith? Second by Ms. Gonzalez. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next, we have item 13A, consideration to approve the renewal of the Food Service Management Company contract with Southwest Food Service Excellence LLC. Mr. Arredondo and David Perales.
Good evening, Officer Gonzalez, Vice President Guanajuato Web, board members, and Dr. Rios. Okay, RFP 1512 was approved at the April 2015 regular board and trustee meeting. A contract with Southwest Food Service Excellence LLC as a food service management company commenced for 1 year on July 1st, 2015 and terminating June 30th, 2016 with 4 annual renewal terms of 1 year each upon mutual agreement between the district and the food service provider. This is the 4th year. And It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees.
Hold on, discussion first.
Do we have any questions from the board? Okay. Mr. Overfeld?
For food service, back when SFE first came on, there was an app that existed, My School Menus, that went in and was functional. And I know the last time I checked it, it wasn't pulling our district anymore. And then also, do we still post the menu for the month on our website somewhere?
Yeah, we have Mr. Perales here that can answer that question.
Good evening, board members, Dr. Rios. Currently, we have used a brand new app, introduced last summer. It's called NutriSlice. That app is available, advertised on the website, on our school menus, under the nutritional tab, parent portal. And we use that app around the district. It has replaced printing of the menu and posting out, which you can print from the app, the NutriSlice program. You can print. We still provide them on request, or we've instructed and trained the staff in our cafeterias and the staff faculty at the schools to learn how to use that, and we continue to do that as needed.
Okay, so who sets the menus for our district? Our nutritionists or SFE?
Our menus are planned as a group with our nutritionist, our nutrition quarter. We use CNOPS program with SFE that analyzes them based on nutrients, calories, sodium. They have to be approved before we post them and make them public. That is done monthly throughout the year.
How often, after it is approved, how often does it go in and change for whatever reason? Because maybe there wasn't enough of that particular item ordered, or something of that nature, where we end up doing more breads or burgers than we planned on as compared to the menu.
Yes, sir. Once our menus have been approved, if there's a factor that requires any changes, for example, a food distributor didn't have the product, it was shorted, food was, we didn't have enough of that product for that day, we have to come and take an effect of what we're going to have to replace it with, communicate that with the school so that we can answer any questions of the parents. But it's not very often. This doesn't happen, something that we just use it as a damage control, if you will. We come in there and we repair it, we get it ready. We have to change this menu if we have it in stock, but it's not an often thing that we do.
And over the last 3 years or so of the contract, have y'all been regularly going in and polling the students and individuals as to what they like and what they don't like, so that we can keep it where they still want to eat?
Yes, sir. As a matter of fact, beginning of this school year, we've focused on what we refer to as student-approved menus, where we do surveys, even one-on-one, daily communication with them in the cafeterias. We also introduced a Feel the Love campaign, that we call it, where we get quotes and from students, from faculty, from staff on our menu choices, and if they're enjoying them, or what we need to do to change if we need to.
Okay. And lastly, I know y'all have been good at getting some grants awarded to help purchase equipment and stuff like that the cafeterias need. In this last year, how many were you awarded, or?
Yes, sir. We had just been awarded. It was 2 weeks ago. We've been awarded another $77,500 for this coming year. 2 schools that were awarded were Chavira Elementary and San Felipe Middle School, with new food lines, serving lines. $35,000 was awarded for the food line for each school, and a milk cooler for San Felipe Memorial of $7,500. And in the combination of the 3 years that we've worked with this grant, we were able to been awarded over $221,000 in equipment grants.
Good deal. No further questions, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else? Not hearing any other questions. May we have the recommendation, please?
Okay, it is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the renewal of the Food Service Management Company contract with Southwest Food Service Excellence, LLC.
Having heard the recommendation, is there a motion to approve? Ms. Gonzalez, second by Ms. Haynes. All those in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you. Now we go back to item 10 on the agenda. Discussion to release RFQ, request for qualifications for general counsel. Dr. Rios.
Mr. Mesa just wanted to communicate that the information had been sent out on the districts that we had compared to, or that we had asked for comparison data, and he wanted to make sure that everyone reviewed those, and if there was any other questions, that they forward them to the administration so that we could research them and provide an appropriate answer. That was it.
From my perspective, and out of respect for Mr. Mesa, because I think this was definitely his drive, and we all know where my brain is at with that. I've reviewed the data. I don't really see anything earth-shattering one way or the other, north or south. But based on Mr. Mesa not being here, I'd like to just put this off till next month and not really have the discussion without him here. I guess out of respect of him. So I'd like to make that motion.
There's a motion on the floor that we postpone this item until Mr. Mesa returns. Is there a second? Second by Mr. Overfelt. All in favor indicate by raising your hand. All in favor, motion passes. Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is item 11, curriculum and instruction. Consideration to approve submittal of the Head Start Continuance Funding Grant application in the amount of $2,359,207 with non-federal shares of $589,802 for the total amount of $2,942,009 to the Region 6 Head Start Office, along with the annual report to public self-assessment, community assessment, training and technical assistance plan, cost allocation plan, selection criteria, program goals, and school readiness. Ms. Ruby Adams.
Good evening, Mrs. Webb, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. I'm here this evening to present to you our 2019-2020 continuation grant application. In this application, there are required documents. These were provided to you in their entirety in your packet. These required documents include the cost allocation plan, the selection criteria, program goals, school readiness goals, our self-assessment, our community assessment, our training and technical assistance, and our annual report to the public. We will begin with our continuation funds. Under the funding type, we have our Head Start program operations and the funding level of $2,286,343 for a funded enrollment of 346 students. Under our Head Start Training and Technical Assistance Plan, or as we like to call our TTA plan, the funding level is $32,396. Our COLA, or our cost of living adjustment, is $40,468 for a total funding of $2,359,207, again for a funded enrollment of 346 students. We continue with our operating categories. On your left, you will see the different items under the budget category. For our Head Start program operations, our total is $2,326,811. Under training and technical assistance, $32,396. And under our non-federal share, the amount is $589,802,000. So now we continue with our required documents. The first is our cost allocation plan. The purpose of this cost allocation plan is to summarize in writing the methods and procedures that our organization will use to allocate our Head Start funds. So our refunding application has allocated 65% of our salaries and fringe benefits charged to Head Start, and 35% is charged to the non-federal share for the San Felipe Del Rio kindergarten, pre-kindergarten. And you'll see the example that's listed below with the different salary amounts. We continue with our selection criteria. We must make sure that our San Felipe Del Rio Head Start program ensures that at least 90% of our children enrolled in our program meet the income eligibility set forth by the Office of Head Start and our performance standards. Now, up to 10% of our children enrolled may exceed these income guidelines, but they must be selected by identified criteria, including children with disabilities and special conditions identified in our policies and procedures. Our Head Start eligibility criteria include that the child is 3 or 4 years of age by September the 1st, the family's income is equal to or below the poverty line, and this is defined by the Federal Register by the Department of Health and Human Services. The child is in foster care, the child is homeless, as identified through the McKinney-Vento guidelines, the child is receiving SSI, and the family is receiving TANF. We do keep a waiting list. Currently, we have 39 students on our 3-year-old program, but we have 0 students on our 4-year-old program. Next, we continue with our program goals. We do have a 5-year plan, and we are currently in year 4. We are progressing into year 5 for 2019-2020. We do have 3 program goals. The first one is to enhance the children's language development. The second one is to enhance the health, mental health, and well-being of our families and children. And the third goal is to enhance the quality of the relationships within our families. Next is our school readiness plan. Our school readiness plan is a required living document. It does target our kinder readiness. It impacts our families and our community. It is reviewed and revised yearly. It is data-driven, and it is specific. We do work with these 7 different domains here and work very closely under the 215 Early Learning Outcome Framework, our ELOF, and this is what we use when we plan for age-appropriate practices, lessons, and activities. Next, we continue with our self-assessment. This is another required document. We do have a committee of parents, teachers, and administrators. We conducted our self-assessment in March of 2019, and our summary include our areas of strength, our fiscal integrity, management systems, ERSI, or eligibility, recruitment, selection, enrollment, and attendance. Our areas to strengthen include health and safety monitoring systems, our kinder readiness parent engagement, and leadership governance management systems training. Next, we continue with our community assessment summary. We've identified strengths for both the City of Del Rio and strengths in our Head Start program. So as you can see, the strengths for the City of Del Rio are that there are multiple resources available for our families. There are bilingual social caseworkers that will meet the linguistic needs of our population. And Del Rio does offer many multicultural experiences. For our Head Start program, our strengths include that we maintain full enrollment. There are many agencies throughout the nation that are suffering from under-enrollment, but we always maintain at 346. Our program is also centrally located. We offer many parental engagement opportunities. We do employ some of our parents, as you saw earlier this evening. We do have a mentoring program titled Practice-Based Coaching, and we also have a parental curriculum titled Love and Logic. We do have a proposed plan of action. We would love to increase the collaboration with our community partners to provide a wider range of services for our parents. We'd like to create a parent resource center to meet all of our family needs. And we'd also like to collaborate with local daycare centers and private cares on educational best practices. Next, we continue with our training and technical assistance plan. If you remember from an earlier slide, that was in the amount of $32,396. And that plan was developed through our self-assessment committee. The areas listed there are areas that we feel we need to budget so that we can have training for next year. In this next slide, you see the specific money allocated. Under program management, we have 0. Under human resources, we've allocated $9,900. Under health services, $4,400. Under educational and child development, $7,000. Under curriculum, $11,096. And then 0 for program governance. The last required document is our annual report. Head Start does require that our annual report be made to the public. It was published in the Del Rio News Herald on November the 4th, 2018, and it did include the following documents: the total amount of public and private funds received, the budgetary expenditures and proposed budget for fiscal year, the total number of children and families that we serve, the results of the most recent federal review, which was in April of 2016, the percentage of our children that receive medical and dental exams, our parental involvement activities, our kinder transition activities, and any other information that is required by the Head Start Secretary. The next couple of slides are not part of the grant application, but they are a Head Start requirement. So if I can please give you a little bit of background information. Our Cardwell teachers service both pre-kindergarten students and Head Start students. Our classroom teachers are assessed by 2 different evaluation systems. Under the TEA requirement, our teachers are evaluated annually under T-TEST, or the Texas Evaluation and Support System. And thus far, each teacher has received approximately 5 walkthroughs and a formal observation, so total 112 walkthroughs and 25 observations, with the summatives still pending. And that's under pre-K under TEA requirements. Now, under Head Start requirements, the teachers must also be assessed, but they are assessed with a tool that's called CLASS, which is Classroom Assessment Scoring System. And this is their peers. They're trained teachers that must take a class, and they must pass the test, and then they are known as a class reliable staff. So we're going to get a little bit deeper into what is CLASS. Once again, CLASS stands for Classroom Assessment Scoring System. It is administered twice yearly, once in the fall, once in the spring, by our class reliable staff. It does consist of 2 20-minute cycles per observation, and it measures the quality of teacher and child interaction. It is utilized for campus training needs as well as individual teacher needs. Once these scores are done, they are uploaded into the Head Start database, and they are entered into comparison with nearly 3,000 Head Start programs throughout the United States. And this class instrument focuses on 3 domains, which are emotional support, classroom organization, and instructional support. In this next slide, you will see how we ranked with the nation. So in the blue, you will see that that is the national average, and then in the orange is our program average. So for the first one, under emotional support, the national average was 6.07, and our program scored 6.19. The second one, under classroom organization, the national average was 5.83, and our program scored 6.05. And the last one, instructional support, the national average is 3.00, and our program scored 3.09. This concludes my presentation. Here are some pictures of some of the activities that do take place at Cardwell. The first one is illustrating our parental engagement, our science fair, our families reading together, and our attendance award. Although Head Start requires that we maintain an 85% in attendance, I am proud to say that our program is 96% in attendance. Any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Adams. Any questions from the board? Mr. Smith?
Oh, just congratulations. I mean, when you're above national average, that's pretty awesome, and that attendance is phenomenal, so congratulations.
Anyone else? Ms. Adams, I have a question for you. First of all, thank you for the presentation, and especially when it deals with class, because I know that teachers at Head Start get evaluated twice, shall we say?
Yes, ma'am.
And when the federal reviewers come in, they come and evaluate the classrooms using the class instrument.
Exactly.
Would you have any idea when the next review is?
We are currently in year 5, and we are going into year, we're in year 4, we're going to year 5, and when I've talked to our regional offices, once we go to year 1, that is when we will receive the next federal review.
Okay, so we have one more year before
we
the
have
federal
one more
reviewers come in.
freebie, as we'd like to call.
All right. Hearing no other questions, the recommendation, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. It is a recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the submittal of the attached application for the Head Start Continuance Funding Grant for the 2019-2020 fiscal year, along with the annual report to the public, self-assessment, community assessment, training and technical assistance plan, cost allocation plan, selection criteria, program goals, and school readiness plan to be submitted to the appropriate Head Start headquarters as presented and authorized by Mr. Raymond Mesa, San Felipe del Rio CISD Board President, to sign.
And does the superintendent also sign that, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just making sure. Okay, having heard the recommendation, do I hear a motion for approval? Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Overfeld. All in favor indicate by raising your, okay, motion passes. Thank you, ma'am. Next item on the agenda is 11B, consideration to approve memorandum of understanding and authorize the superintendent to sign in accordance with section 642E of the Head Start Act. Head Start agency grantees are required to enter into a memorandum of understanding with appropriate local entities. Ms. Adams.
Yes, good evening, Ms. Webb, Dr. Rios, and members of the board once again. I'm here this evening to present our Memorandum of Understanding, or MOUs, with our community agencies. The purpose of the interagency agreements are to network with community agencies to provide services to economically and socially disadvantaged families of 3 to 5-year-old children within our program. MOUs cover services such as referrals of eligible children and families with educational services, community agencies for counseling, mental health services, in-service health and safety training, financial training, and referrals and outreach for job trainings. And listed here are the different health providers, schools, daycare centers, and community agencies that our program work with. Last, we have some pictures of some of our community agencies that do work with us. We do have our fire department, we have our county library, Sul Ross State University, some of our medical doctors that do come and work with our children. Are there any questions?
Questions from board members? Hearing none, recommendation, ma'am.
It is a recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the memorandums of understanding, and authorize the superintendent to sign the memorandums of understanding as presented.
You have heard the recommendation. Is there a motion for approval? Ms. Haynes, second by Ms. Gonzalez. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Next, we have item 11C, consideration to approve the memorandum of understanding of the Board of Trustees of San Felipe Del Rio CISD and Angelo State University in regard to academic off-site dual credit courses. Ms. Gomez.
Thank you, Vice President Guanajuato Webb, Dr. Rios, and members of the board. In preparation for the 2019-20 school year, we are presenting the Memorandum of Understanding between Angelo State University and San Felipe Del Rio, CISD, with regards to the academic off-site dual credit courses. This dual credit partnership agreement between San Felipe Del Rio and Angelo State follows the same guidelines as this current year that we just signed in 18-19. So this is an annual review for this same MOU. The MOU was included in the board packet, and I can answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions from the board? Hearing no questions, the recommendation, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the Memorandum of Understanding between Angelo State University and San Felipe Del Rio CISD in regards to the academic off-site dual credit courses as presented.
Okay, having heard the recommendation, is there a motion for approval? Mr. Smith, second by Ms. Haynes. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda is item 12A, consideration to approve the relocation of $1,028,523 from General Fund Sustainability Technology to General Fund Sustainability Construction and Budget, amended to the General Fund in the amount of $1,028,523. Mr. Henge.
Yes, that recommendation was actually 1,000,000.
I'm 1 million, sorry.
28,000, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Big difference. Good evening again. This item here is basically what I covered in our presentation, and I can pull this, let me pull this chart back up again here. The sustainability monies that we received this year, we had allocated out 1.2 million for technology, and just with timing and summertime vastly approaching here, there's just not enough time to spend this budget from technology and do it in a way that's responsible. We need time. At this point, we're going through and we're looking at utilization of the computers before we make any more investments in technologies. We were able to purchase computers for John Reed's classroom at Del Rio Middle School. We were also able to invest in additional computers for 3rd and 4th grade throughout the district. We've been able to purchase some Toshiba copiers to expand on our printer initiative. Tonight, we also received the approval to purchase 2 more copiers, and then we also have a $20,000 investment for laptop refresh that we'll be doing from now until the beginning of the new budget year. So with all of those initiatives in mind, right now the favorability on that is the $1,028,522.60. Over the last few years, we've made a lot of investments in technology, and there's a lot of in-house training and development that can be done over the summertime to be able to leverage that equipment when we come back to the new school year. So I feel it would be most productive to kind of change gears and give them an opportunity really in that department to work with that equipment and become professionals with all these investments we've been making. And meanwhile, in my presentation earlier, you saw just 4 projects that we have in the operations committee that we're discussing right now. We're waiting on some numbers to come back there. So with all that being said, we would like to reallocate this over to construction. I don't have a specific project at this time that I'm recommending, but this would give us the budget that I feel we could at least kick off some more of these projects before the end of this budget year.
Questions from board members? Mr. Overfelt?
When you talk about the 4 projects that we'd like to do, and then I know we talked about the issue of the turf at the middle school. I know when it came to us, I don't know how long it's been, half a year ago, it was $600,000 something to go in and do. So if that's one of the things that we want to do, that's going to eat over half of this right away, correct?
That's correct. We're working on getting an updated quote now, but based on that, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, Mr. Oldfield. Coach Smith, do you recall what the bid was on the turf last year, the turnkey? Was it 600,000 or was it more or less? Okay.
Okay. So 40 grand off. We'll call it 600.
And has that vendor indicated they would keep the same price?
Is it the same contractor that we used for the Ram Stadium, Hellas, or somebody different that we were looking at using? Okay. And I guess, again, and I know we talked about this earlier, this is existing money. We're not touching anything in the rainy day fund and fund balance. We're just shifting between 2 line items.
That is correct. There is another $3 million in fund balance, but this does not touch that at all. This $1 million that Mr. Henge is alluding to is just money that's already budgeted. It's in our current budget.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments? Hearing none, the recommendation, sir?
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the allocation of funds from General Fund Sustainability Technology to General Fund Sustainability Construction and budget amendment to the general fund in the amount of $1,028,523 for future construction projects.
You have heard the recommendation. Is there a motion? Ms. Gonzalez, second by Mr. Smith. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We are now on item 13B. Consideration to approve administration to select the best qualified auditing service provider finalist and approve administration to negotiate an engagement letter and agreement with the best qualified auditor service finalist as a fair and reasonable fee. Mr. Arredondo.
Good evening, Officer Gonzalez, Vice President Guanajuato Webb, board members, Dr. Rios. The Board of School Trustees of each school district shall have its school district fiscal accounts audited annually at district expense by a certified or public accountant holding a permit from the Texas State Board of Public Accountancy. The audit must be completed following the close of each fiscal year. The selection of auditors is exempt from the state competitive procurement process. Therefore, the district is using the 2-step process that is used for selection of professional services, which includes 1, on the basis of demonstrated competency of qualifications to perform the services, and 2, for a fair and reasonable price. The request for qualifications was advertised in the Del Rio News Herald in February by Ms. Paula Johnson, Director of Purchasing. The RFQs were posted on the district website. The requests for qualifications were received in the Director of Purchasing's office by 2 p.m. on Monday, March the 4th. 3 RFQs were received. This is the first step in the 2-step process. The second step will be brought back to the May 20th board meeting. We are in the process of evaluating the qualifications that were posted.
Any questions from board members or comments?
Just one. Why did, I don't think I was here for that particular meeting when we initially put it out there. What was the reasoning for moving away from the auditor that we've had for a while?
We're not moving away from them, but the renewal was up, so it was time to, did they submit?
Yeah, it was the last extension. They did submit.
Okay. Okay, all right, thank you.
The three that submitted are prior auditors of the school district.
And one of those is what we would call I guess who was the current auditor coming into this?
That's correct.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other questions? The recommendation, sir?
Okay, it is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the administration to select the best qualified auditing service provider finalist and approve the administration to negotiate an engagement letter and agreement with the best qualified auditor service finalist at a fair and reasonable fee.
You have heard the recommendation. Is there a motion? Ms. Gonzalez, a second. Mr. Smith, all in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you, sir. We're now on item 14A. Consideration to approve the submission of the 2018-2019 request for maximum class size waiver exception to TEA. Ms. Garcia.
Yes, good evening again. We continue to conduct class size enrollment surveys for kinder through fourth grade, and at this time we've identified 2 additional classes at Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary who are over the 22-to-1 ratio, so we must submit a request of maximum class size waiver exception to TEA. Is there a question? Any questions?
Any questions from board members? There being none, recommendation, ma'am.
It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve the submission of the 2018-2019 request for maximum class size waiver exception to TEA and the compliance plan.
You have heard the recommendation. Is there a motion? Mr. Smith, second by Ms. Gonzalez. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you. Item 14B, consideration to approve the employee job description and evaluation forms for the following: Coordinator, Computer and Technology Education Update. Ms. Garcia.
Yes, and I'm sorry, there is a correction here. It should be the Coordinator for Career and Technical Education. The job description is listed correctly. It is an update. So in your packet, the page preceding the board memo, in red you can see what was deleted, and then in blue the addition. And if there's any questions, Mr. Gonzalez is also here.
Are there any questions from board members? Hearing none. The recommendation, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. It is the recommendation of administration that the Board of Trustees approve the employee job description evaluation forms as discussed.
Okay, you have heard the recommendation. Is there a motion? Mr. Smith, second by Ms. Haynes. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you, ma'am. There are no items under 15 or 16. We're now on item 17, closed session. If during the course of any dual posted meeting, the Board of Trustees determines that a closed or executive session is required regarding an item posted on the agenda, that session will be held on all subjects and proposed permitted by sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.073, 551.074, 551.075, 551.082, 551.084, 551.087 of the Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act. If a final vote is required on any matter considered in closed session or executive session, it shall be taken either upon the reconvening of the public session covered by this notice or at a subsequent duly posted public meeting as the board shall determine. 17A, Section 551071, consultation with attorney, 551.082, school children, school district employees, disciplinary matters or complaint, level 1 or 1, level 3 hearing on David Olivares.
Yes, ma'am. If it pleases the board, the grievance has been granted the relief sought, so there is no need to include this in closed agenda.
Okay. Okay, item 17A1 will be taken out of the closed session. 17B, pertinent to 551.072, personnel matters, and 551.071, consultation with attorney, discussion of personnel report to include the following: new hirees, district vacancies, retirement, resignations, and reassignments. B2, discussion of salary adjustments to include the following: service credits and salary matrix adjustments. B3, discussion of non-renewal of term contracts at the end of the contract period. B4, discussion of the literacy coach coordinator position. B5, discussion of the Buena Vista Elementary counselor position. Item 17C, pertinent to 551.071, consultation with attorney. 1, discussion regarding the Brackettville ISD and Comstock ISD waiver, TEC 7.053. We are now in closed session, and it is 8:47. It is now 10:08. We will now reconvene to open session. Let the record show that no action was taken in closed session. We are now on item 18B, consideration to approve the personnel report to include the following: new hires and district vacancies, retirement, and resignations. Aide Garcia.
Good evening again. It is the recommendation of administration for the Board of Trustees to approve the following personnel: Cecilia Contreras, Buena Vista Elementary, first grade teacher; Melissa Pontiff, Buena Vista Elementary, third grade teacher; Dora Trevino, Dr. Fermin Calderon, art teacher; Yasmin Zuniga Velasquez, Dr. Fermin Calderon, kindergarten teacher; Cynthia Smith, Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary, fifth grade teacher; Christian Snyder, Garfield Elementary, second grade teacher; Analisa Patiño, San Felipe Memorial Middle, math teacher; Valerie Allen, Del Rio Middle School, seventh grade, ELA teacher; Samantha Canuel, Del Rio Middle School, eighth grade, English teacher; Stephanie Collins, Del Rio Middle School, eighth grade, ELA teacher; Lori Sprague, Del Rio Freshman School, CTE Business Education teacher; Larissa Piña, Del Rio High School, science teacher for environmental systems; Elizabeth Osorio, Del Rio High School, homebound teacher; Juanita Flores, Dr. Lonnie Green Elementary, second grade bilingual teacher.
Any questions from the board? Mr. Smith?
You know, I've been doing this for now, 3 years, and that's the longest list. So congratulations, that's a big deal to take that much in 1 month. Awesome job.
Thank you
I
very
don't know
much.
what you did, but it's working. So
I'll let the staff know. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Recommendation, ma'am.
That was the recommendation.
You have heard the recommendation. Do you have a motion for approval? Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Overfelt. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am. Item 18C, consideration to approve salary adjustments to include but not limited to the following as discussed in closed session: service credit and salary matrix adjustment. Aide Garcia.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the salary adjustments as discussed in closed session.
Any questions, comments? We have heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion for approval? Mr. Overfeld, second. Ms. Amy Haynes. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries. Thank you, ma'am. 18D, consideration to approve the non-renewal of term contracts at the end of the contracted period. Aide Garcia.
And there's none at this time.
We move on to 18E, consideration to approve position of literacy coach coordinator. Aide Garcia.
It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve the position for literacy coach coordinator for the Curriculum and Instruction Department.
Any comments, questions? Okay, we have heard the recommendation. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'm sorry, I apologize, ma'am. Did I miss a name?
Oh, I'm sorry. I think I did miss it. Okay, let me try that again. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve Michelle Gonzalez for the position of literacy coach coordinator for the Curriculum and Instruction Department.
Okay, we have heard the recommendation. Mr. Overfeld made the recommendation, second by Ms. Haynes. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Mr. Overfeld? Sorry. All in favor. Thank you, ma'am. 18F, consideration to approve the position for counselor at Buena Vista Elementary. Aide Garcia.
Yes, ma'am. It is the recommendation of the administration that the Board of Trustees approve Raul Hurtado for the position of counselor at Buena Vista Elementary.
We have heard the recommendation. Any comments, questions? None? Okay, do I have a motion for approval? Mr. Smith, second by Mr. Overfeld. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion passes. Thank you, ma'am. We are now on item 19, superintendent's report.
Yes, ma'am. Just a reminder to the board that tomorrow, it had been set for Thursday, but now it's been moved to tomorrow and posted accordingly. Tomorrow we have a workshop to present the present and future needs of Irene Cardwell, and also to do the superintendent's formula evaluation that was postponed from the previous meeting. And the first budget workshop is set for Tuesday, May 28th. At that time, we'll present a salary study and potential revenue if they've set on a funding formula. It will be Tuesday, May 28th, and we will have the TASB consultant here on that day. That is the week of graduation. So Tuesday we'll have the workshop. Wednesday we will have the scholarship reception at the high school. Thursday the top 20 banquet, and Friday graduation. So Thursday through Friday will be a full week for y'all, for all of us. What was that, ma'am?
Nothing, sir.
I'm sorry.
We are now on item 20, adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Overfeld, second by Ms. Haynes. All in favor indicate by raising your right hand. Motion carries.